back during COVID in sort of 2020, 2021, Scott Brash released a training series that he created, and I've watched it sort of 4 or 5 times all the way through, and it's absolutely brilliant, all the different exercises he goes through. And today I'm just going to go through one of the exercises that he actually explains in one of his training videos, which is basically a double of oxers. And I found double of oxers really, really useful, this exercise, with all my horses, particularly with Isla. She's a big, long mare. She's got a big jump in her, but she needs to learn just to shorten herself out, but also make sure that she's relaxing over fences and so on. But not only that, also you'll see a bit later on, we also can do different things, sort of like practicing jumping at angles and so on like that, in preparation for jump offs, etc. So I'm just going to warm her up, and then we're going to go through the exercise and show you how it goes. So I've got the Meta Oakley glasses on, which are absolutely brilliant for this sort of thing. You get really good sort of POV shots like this, and you'll be able to see exactly sort of what I'm seeing when I go down a grid or over fences and so on. So it's quite a useful tool to have, and it's really good to be able to look back and analyse everything using them as well. Alright, so we're just going to warm up. Just pop over a little upright to start with. Steady. Steady. Good. Good girl. Ooh. Good girl. Oh. Yeah, she's a bit keen today. Isla always is when you're training at home, which is why doing stuff like this is actually quite difficult, but it's really good for her. So you'll see I've just put water trays in this second one, which I was just having a bit of a look at. Just because I always think it's good when you're doing grids, that's when you can start to introduce things, and this is the beginning of the season for Isla. So we'll obviously introduce a few water trays within grids and bounces and stuff like this as well. So I'm just going to come around on the right rein, I'm just going to pop this 2 strides and out, and we'll see how she lands and decide which way we go. Good girl. Now I've built it so it's about a yard short of what you'd find in the ring, because obviously naturally when you're training you're going to have a slightly shorter canter than you are in the ring, but it's still only a yard and it's only a small fence, so you know she will have to work a little bit to get out. So good girl. Try and have a good rhythm, looking at the fence. Steady, steady. Okay, good. Steady, steady. Okay, we'll just come around here again. Try and just get a bit more forward off this corner. Good girl. Steady, good girl, very good. Oh, good girl. So Isla finds this all very exciting. Just going to do it once more. Steady, steady. Steady. Good girl. Very good. Yeah, she did very well there. Good girl. And what we could do to obviously make it a bit more difficult is we could put it up, you know, I'm not going to today, but we could put it up, she can go through it, and you can jump this as big as you want to, which is the beauty of it. And we can also make it shorter. If you want to make it a bit more difficult, you can make it a bit longer, you can make it a 3 stride, etc. So it's really adaptable in terms of what you can do with it. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to come round, I'm just going to jump this blue upright off this corner, slightly on an angle, into the corner and then right round, and see how she gets on with that. Good girl. So you can see that Isla prefers landing on that left leg, which is why actually jumping this on an angle off that left rein just encourages her. She has to land on the right leg. Good girl. That was very good though. I'm just going to come round on the right rein now and just come to the yellow one. Again, just slightly on an angle. But again, to start with, we don't need to angle it a lot. It's only a little bit to make sure that they have an idea of what we're asking of them. So again, good girl. Very good girl. Ooh, very good. So that's Isla done for the day, but I'm really happy with her. Obviously she's very keen, she's very hot, and at home whenever we're jumping, that is what she's like. But this is why it's great to be able to do this sort of thing without any pressure. It's nice and small. You don't have to jump big across this at all. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to put her away. I'm going to get Lottie out, who's a very different sort of horse. She's a bit more compact, a bit smaller, and I'm probably what I'm actually going to do is going to just shorten the distance on this slightly, just to make it a bit easier for her, because again, I want to make sure this is all nice experiences for them. So just adjust it depending on what horse you're on. But anyway, I'm going to go and get Lottie and we'll go from there. So the primary reason I'm actually moving this in for Lottie, as you can see, move it in by about 2 foot, because she thrives on confidence. So I want to make sure that she's always feeling really confident at all times, which does mean we need to obviously have things a little bit smaller for her at home, so she goes in the ring nice and confident. And same with distances, we need to keep distances nice and short so that when we're in the ring we can ride a bit more forward, and and she takes that on a lot better. So that's the reason why we have it just a little bit smaller. Well, actually it's the same height, but we have it nice and small at home. It's still decent width. We've only got a 2 foot width. We'll just bring it in. The distance is about 2 foot shorter for the 2 strides there. So we'll see how she gets on. So Lottie has spotted the camera in the corner. Something else that Scott actually discusses in his series that he does is how to deal with a horse that is spooking at something, whether it's in the corner and so on. So I'm just going to show you sort of a little bit about what he explains on how to do it. And basically it's just about not making a big deal of it, which I know sounds obvious, but it's just not getting angry. Again, she's straight away, she's pretty calm about it. But I know if I was to get tense and start getting angry at her and telling her you've got to go in the corner, she'll start getting tense and angry at me, and then we're not getting anywhere. So it's just about whenever the horse is a bit stressed at a corner or a filler or anything like that, it's just about make sure you keep it calm, act like there's nothing there basically, and that's how Scott explains how to deal with scary ghosts in the corner. So now we've got Lottie out. She's obviously very different to Isla, a little bit sort of more compact. She's got a very different canter, a very different way of going, a different jump, and yet this same exercise can still be used for both of them, which is why it's really good. So you'll see how she is a bit different. I have shortened it, as I said, just to help with her slightly shorter stride and just try and give her confidence as she's going through it, instead of her reaching for the back rail on the second oxer. So I'm just going to give her a warm up and then we'll have a pop through it. Okay, good girl. Right, so as I said, we have a nice short canter with her just to keep her nice and confident between hand and leg. Eyes on the fence. Steady. Good girl, very good. Okay, ooh, good girl. Ooh, ooh, steady, steady. Good, okay. So for me, straight away, I noticed that I don't think I'm particularly straight there. So I'm going to try one more time and just work on trying to keep her nice and straight all the way through. Good girl. Steady. Okay, better. You can see she's just getting a little bit tense, a little bit strong. So I'm just going to come around once more on the right rein and try and just come in that little bit steadier. Good girl. Steady, good girl. Okay, good girl, steady. Good girl, good girl. So I think Lottie's coming through that quite nicely. I think I would like her to have a slightly shorter step on the first stride, and not sort of like last stride into the fence, she just gets a bit tense. But we know the history of Lottie, and we know sort of what the situation she's in terms of she needs a lot of confidence, and therefore when she lacks a bit of confidence, that's when she rushes. So we're just trying to keep it nice and steady for her to hopefully give her that confidence, and she's getting better and better. But she came down there really nice to finish. So what I'm now going to do is just come and jump the horse trays just on the the left rein. So we're just going to come and jump the horse trays on the left rein and come and then just do it slightly in the angle. Again, just to introduce a couple of angle fences in preparation for jump offs, etc. as we get through the season. Steady. Good, very good girl. Okay, she seems to prefer landing on that right leg, so what I'm going to do now is just come on the right rein across and then try and get it to land on the left leg. Good girl. Good girl. Steady. Very good. Yeah, very good. I was happy with that. Really good. All right, just to finish, we're just going to jump the yellow one, just on a slight angle on the left rein, and get to land the right leg. And that will then do her. Steady. 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 Good girl. Very good. Steady. All right. Whoa. Steady. Steady. Very good girl. So that last time you could just see she was carrying that little bit steadier and had a little bit more calm to her canter. So happy with that, happy to finish on that. So that's Lottie finished. I'm really happy with how she did there. I think as we went through, she's got better and better. With her, as we've always tried, and particularly in training, it's just all about keeping her calm, keeping her happy. And with this, again, we can just adapt things depending on how she's feeling on the day. Doing things on the angle actually have really helped her, I think, because it means she has to think a little bit and she can't rush the last couple of strides. She has to actually think about where her feet are and actually look at the fence. So I think that was a really good training session. Really happy with that. So it doesn't really matter what size arena you've got. You're able to fit a double of oxers in there. Even if you change it just to a one stride, you can definitely still fit something in. So give it a go at home and see how you get on, and let me know how things go.